look at what 2021 graduates face in the job market. The U.S. government releases census numbers for states. We'll find out how that could affect funding. And the CDC releases new guidance for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
2021 college graduates are entering an improved workforce, but there are still some pandemic-related roadblocks. This is KOAM News at 10. As graduation approaches, many 4-state area seniors are getting ready to apply for jobs. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with local universities and their students about a new sense of hope for the class of 2021's career prospects.
Colleges across the country will soon be hosting graduation ceremonies for their seniors, marking the end of their college careers and sending them into the real world. Mindy Cloninger, Director of Career Services at Pitt State, says unlike the class of 2020, it looks like outgoing seniors may have a better time grabbing a post-grad job.
A lot more certainty about the existence of jobs out there. This time last year, so much was shut down that some of the job offers were kind of put on hold.
She says she hasn't seen anything like that this year. Graduating Pitt State senior Krishna Balaji has already secured a job working at Tesla. Although he says because of the way the pandemic altered in-person interactions, he was concerned about showcasing his abilities to possible employers during interviews.
I was applying for a job. I wouldn't be able to physically go up to the employer to physically turn in my resume or interact with them. It just had to be done all online.
Alex Gandy, Director of Career Services at Missouri Southern, adds that going virtual has made it easier for students to book interviews, but not necessarily to land jobs.
The challenge about that, though, is being able to showcase your personality, to showcase your specific talents and your abilities is much more of a challenge through video.
Although he agrees that the job market has picked up since last year. One Missouri Southern senior, Meredith Samudio, says she's more worried about the transition into the workforce than the state of the job market.
It's kind of a weird time, but that being said, I know that a lot of companies are hiring remote jobs and things like that. I guess I'm just worried about my capabilities more so than the jobs available.
Job hunting after graduation can be a challenge, even more so in a pandemic. But for the class of 2021 and even those who graduated last year, things are starting to look up. In Pittsburgh and Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Although the class of 2021 is still competing with the class of 2020 in the job market, both career services say more jobs are becoming available for those graduates. Doug Heddy joins us now at the close of what's been a very windy day, Doug.
Yeah, super windy. We had winds that were gusting anywhere from 40 upwards to 50 miles per hour at times, plus very warm, 85 degrees. Average high is 73. Record, we really weren't that far from the record high, 90, set back in 1987. And it's going to stay fairly windy tonight and then once again tomorrow, but not as bad as what we saw today. A lot of clouds across the region, nothing underneath the clouds. We're going to stay dry tonight, but this is the leading edge of our next storm system, which is really kind of brewing out across the central parts of the Rockies. And this will really start to affect us late tomorrow into tomorrow evening. Look at our temps. We're still in the low to mid 70s. If you want to open up the windows tonight, we'll drop back mid 60s with that nice southerly wind kind of and get a nice fresh breeze, I guess, through your house. But temperatures, they're going to be great tonight and then once again for us tomorrow. Now the wind's still kind of strong. We have these south winds at about 15 to 25. Of course, down we're going to be talking about thunderstorm chances here in just a little bit.
All right, we'll catch you soon. Thanks, Doug. The Ottawa County, Oklahoma Sheriff says 4 inmates caused a disturbance in one of their pods this evening. The sheriff says they were breaking windows and blocking doors. A number of area law enforcement agencies responded to help get things under control. No one was hurt, they say, and no inmates escaped. A Newton County, Missouri judge sentences an Oklahoma man for his role in shooting at a Seneca, Missouri police officer. Kenneth Nellums gets 18 years and 15 years in prison on charges of first-degree assault and unlawful use of a weapon. Those sentences will run at the same time. Nellums entered an Alford plea, which means he does not admit guilt, but he does recognize that the prosecution has enough evidence to convict him. Crime happened in September. Authorities say a Seneca police officer tried to make a traffic stop, but someone shot at the officer. The officer was not hit. Bradley Holmes, the alleged shooter, also entered an Alford plea. He got 15 years in prison. Tony Helm, another co-defendant, also got 15 years in prison. Authorities arrest a suspect in a Coffeyville, Kansas homicide. Coffeyville police say officers on Friday responded to the 700 block of West Martin Street for a shooting. When officers arrived, they learned the victim, 46-year-old Christopher Temple, had been taken to the hospital. Temple later died of his wounds. Today, authorities announced the suspect, 24-year-old Ruben Robles of Coffeyville, was arrested in New Mexico. Oklahoma Governor Kevin Stitt has signed 3 anti-abortion bills into law. Stitt announced on Twitter that he signed bills today requiring physicians to perform abortions to be certified in obstetrics, adding performing abortions to the list of unprofessional conduct by doctors, and prohibiting abortions if a fetal heartbeat is detected. The New York-based Center for Reproductive Rights has successfully sued to overturn numerous anti-abortion bills in Oklahoma. It says it's considering all options to ensure the laws do not take effect. Stitt says he also signed a bill to make Oklahoma a so-called Second Amendment sanctuary state. The bill declares any attempt to confiscate or buy back firearms to be unconstitutional. The U.S. Supreme Court is expected to hear arguments on whether to expand gun rights nationwide today. The Supreme Court agreed to hear a New York case over the right to carry a gun in public for self-defense. This will be the court's first case on gun rights since Amy Coney Barrett joined the Supreme Court and gave it a wider conservative majority. After the announcement, the NRA released a statement supporting the decision, saying, quote, "This sets the stage for the Supreme Court to affirm what most states already hold as true, that there is an individual right to self-defense outside of the home." State of emergency remains in effect in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, amid growing outrage over a fatal shooting of a black man by sheriff's deputies while they were serving a warrant. Elise Preston reports.
Protesters demanding justice have taken to the streets of Elizabeth City for another day after the deadly police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr.
My dad got executed just by trying to save his own life.
Sheriff's deputies shot and killed Brown last week in North Carolina. The officers were serving the 42-year-old with a warrant on felony drug charges. He was shot as he tried to drive away.
Andrew had his hands on his steering wheel. He was not reaching for anything. He wasn't touching anything. He wasn't throwing anything around. He had his hands firmly on the steering wheel.
After days of demonstrations, the county attorney on Monday allowed Brown's family to view footage recorded by a police body camera.
We do not feel that we got transparency. We only saw a snippet of the video.
The family's attorney said they were shown only a single 20-second clip that had been heavily edited.
The truth will come out. The video will be seen by the public, and we will get justice for Andrew Brown Jr.
Sheriff Tommy Wooten says the body cam footage should be released to the public if it won't hinder the state's investigation.
Once I get that confirmation, our county will file a motion in court to have the footage released.
That process could take days. 7 deputies are now on administrative leave pending an investigation. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
Sheriff today announced that the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation is taking over that case. The Federal Justice Department is opening a sweeping probe into policing in Louisville, Kentucky over the March 2020 death of Breonna Taylor. Taylor was shot to death by police during a raid at her home in which her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, says he thought police were intruders and shot at them. It's the second such probe into a law enforcement agency by the Biden administration in a week. There's also an investigation into Minneapolis police. Still ahead, how 2020 census data could factor into funding for area programs and schools. And after removing a pause on the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the CDC releases new guidance for its use. The Census Bureau today released the state population counts from the 2020 numbers. Population count is essential to funding for each state. They receive the funding from the federal government for federal assistance programs. In 2015, Missouri received nearly $11.3 billion in federal funding that went to 16 programs. One of those programs is the National School Lunch Program, which benefits students all across the state, including those in Joplin.
Now, we do have a federal breakfast and lunch program that we turn in reimbursement claims to the state, and then I think the state receives that federal funding to support that free and reduced lunch program.
Today's report also included state legislative district changes. None of those changes will be in the four-state area. The full census data, including information like demographics and municipality populations, will be released later this year. Health officials in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri announced the vaccinations using the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will resume. The vaccinations were paused following the discovery of rare cases of blood clotting in some patients who received the shot. In a statement, Kansas Governor Laura Kelly encouraged every Kansan to get vaccinated as soon as they can. In updated guidance, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says people receiving the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine should watch for blood clot symptoms. The symptoms include persistent severe headaches or blurred vision, shortness of breath, chest pain, leg swelling, abdominal pain, or unusual bruising. Health officials say the risk is extremely low, but if you have any symptoms within 3 weeks of getting the J&J shot, you should get medical attention quickly. According to one official, the United States will start sharing millions of doses of AstraZeneca's vaccine with other countries soon. That includes India. The U.S. has tens of millions of doses stockpiled, but none have been used. That's because AstraZeneca's vaccine hasn't been given emergency use authorization by the FDA yet. Biden administration officials now feel confident the U.S. has enough doses for its population, so the company will distribute doses to other countries pending a safety review. Later, two of the best softball teams in Southeast Kansas face off on the diamond as Columbus takes on Colgan. We'll have the highlights in sports.
And thunderstorms right back in the forecast. We're going to look at that coming up next. Well, it turned out to be a very warm and very windy day for us today. We have winds at times gusting 40 upwards to 50 miles per hour, but those strong southerly winds really helped our temperatures warm up as we did go right around 85, which is way up there, our warmest temperature we have seen in 2021 so far. Great time lapse, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, a lot of mid and upper level clouds for us today, but we stayed dry, so in general, it turned out to be a pretty good day. Yesterday, mid 70s, we dropped back to 60, mid 80s for us today. A little bit cooler tomorrow, but still it's going to be near 80 for afternoon highs. We're still in the mid 70s, low to mid 70s across the region, and our temperatures, they're just not going to drop off too much tonight. Down into the mid 60s, so you can open up the windows. It's actually a pretty nice night. Got a full moon. It's a little hazy due to the clouds, but you can still kind of see it. South winds 15 to 25 still at this time. They're not going to be as strong tonight as what we did see today, but we're still going to occasionally get winds gusting 30 upwards to 35 at times throughout the overnight hours. Staying kind of windy again tomorrow, but not as bad as what we did see throughout the daytime hours today. Look at the mid and upper level clouds kind of streaming through. Nothing underneath the clouds, so we are going to stay dry tonight. But this is the leading edge of our next storm system, which is out across the Rockies. And it's a fairly strong system. It's just a slow mover. It's out spinning just to the west of Salt Lake City. So to go from Salt Lake City through Joplin is going to take about another 72 hours. So we're going to have chances for showers and thunderstorms sticking around. South winds tonight. Still a lot of clouds, mid 60s. Stays nice and mild all night long. Mostly cloudy skies for us tomorrow. Temperatures in general are still pretty good. We go into the upper 70s to near 80. We start at 65, 74 by noon, and a high temp of 78. Now, there's a very slight chance we could get a scattered thunderstorm late in the afternoon, but a better shot in the evening, especially on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Any storms that did fire up, some of them could be stronger, maybe low-grade severe, so we'll have to watch that. But some scattered thunderstorms tomorrow night, and again, some of these could be strong into Wednesday morning. By Wednesday morning, they become a little bit more widespread. Showers and thunderstorms, I don't think those would be severe by any means, but then Wednesday afternoon, we'll get additional ones that pop up, and some of those could be strong, maybe low-grade severe, all the way into Wednesday night, and then mainly after midnight, things start to calm down, and then we get a chance to dry out just a bit. All right, severe threat tomorrow, it's low. It's mainly on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. I'm going to keep all the threats low, and I'm going to say mainly after 6 p.m. That's when we'll start to get scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up. Also, rainfall. It's going to be heavy, especially where these heavier bands set up on Wednesday. So a lot of areas are going to pick up 1, 2, maybe isolated 3-inch amounts, which is a lot of rain, especially when we had quite a bit of rain last week, so the ground is pretty saturated. All right, 78 tomorrow, 72 on Wednesday, 67 on Thursday. Kind of cold Friday morning. It's short-lived, and then we warm right back up over the weekend.
Yeah, relatively speaking, that will be cold, certainly compared to today. Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, Colgan softball hosts Columbus in a showdown of two of the best in Southeast Kansas. And Missouri Southern aims to stay hot against league rival Emporia State. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
Well, two of the best softball teams in Southeast Kansas square off tonight in Pittsburgh. The Colgan Panthers welcome in the Columbus Titans for a CNC League doubleheader. Now, both of these teams have been dominant all year. They are both 11-1 coming in. Allie Marietta in the second inning with the bases loaded. Off the fence in center. All three runners come in to score. Marietta in at third for the triple. Panthers up 4-0. Now Columbus gets on the board in the third. Katie Simpson. She had a big day today. Almost leaves the yard off the fence. That scores Allison Macy to make it 4-1. Colgan extends the lead here. Ashley Marietta takes it deep to right center. That'll clear the fence for the 2-run jack. Panthers go up 7-1. Titans, though, get a big swing of their own here in the next inning. Remember, Katie Simpson almost had the homer earlier. She did not miss that one. Simpson solo shot to right center. Cuts it to 7-3, but Colgan gets 4 more in the 6th. Pull away to win game 1, 11-3. Colgan throws the first punch tonight, but Columbus rebounds in game 2. Titans earn the split, winning the second one 11-5. Both teams are now 12-2 overall this season. Missouri Southern softball is on a roll right now. The Lions have won 7 of their last 10 and have made their way up to 4th in the MIAA league standings. Now this afternoon, Southern aims to stay hot with a league doubleheader against Emporia State. The Hornets strike first. Brittany Shepard back up the middle for the RBI single. Emporia State gets 2 in the top of the first. Southern gets something going in the bottom of the third. Josie Topai, off the pitcher's glove, beats the throw to first. Sydney Hurst scores. Next inning, Adriana Young gives the Lions their first lead. RBI single scores Kara Amos. It is 3-2 Southern. Now, Emporia State ties it at 3 in the last of the 7th here. Josie Topai with Yasmin Vargas on second. Topai drills it to center. Vargas cruises in. Walk-off double for Topai. She goes 3 for 4 in this one. Missouri Southern takes game 1 today, 4-3. In game 2, Lions are able to do it again and get the sweep 6-4. Ashlyn Williams gets a double and drives in 3 in that one. Southern is now 15-6-1 in the MIAA. The first place Kansas City Royals. Sounds good, right? Going for a 4-game sweep against the Tigers. Carlos Santana starts it off with a 2-run homer in the third, his 5th of the season. It's 2-0 KC. Now, bottom of the third, Miguel Cabrera. He's been playing baseball since I was like 6. RBI single up the middle, cuts the Royals' lead in half. Later in the inning, not so great news here. Willie Castro to short. Nicky Lopez throws Cabrera out at home. Salvador Perez clearly in some pain after the play. He jammed his thumb. He would leave the game later. He is day-to-day. Royals, though, do go on to finish this thing off 3-2. Kansas City 14-7. the best record in the American League. In the National League Series opener tonight between the Cards and the Phillies. The Cardinals enter on a 3-game winning streak. Philly, though, wins a low-scoring game tonight 2-1. St. Louis manages just 2 hits on the evening. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran, Ivan Elliott. The Stark, Kansas native served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. And we are proud to salute Ivan Elliott. He's tonight's 4th state hero. Texas Customs and Border Protection officers got a funky surprise when they examined a tractor trailer carrying a shipment of fresh pickles into the state. Take a look at this. You're looking at more than $1 million worth of what authorities believe is methamphetamine found hidden amongst all those pickles. The CBP's Office of Field Operations seized the narcotics and the tractor trailer. They later tweeted a picture of the shipment calling it Funky Pickles. The Department of Homeland Security is investigating. Maybe the strategy is you throw off the scent of the drug dogs. I don't know. Whatever, it didn't work, clearly.
No, I can't stand pickles anyway, so who knows. All right, kind of windy still for us tonight. Tad windy. Temperatures are going to only drop into the mid-60s. Still near 80 tomorrow. Most of tomorrow is going to be dry, but we are going to start to get scattered showers and thunderstorms that could pack a punch tomorrow evening.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.